What is up, everyone? JD here. Hope you're doing well today. I got a real good one for you. Let's get into it. All right, so today we're going to be doing a review and disassembly at the end, so you're going to want to watch the full thing if you want to see all of that, but the disassembly for this one will be closer towards the end of the video. I'll do my best to marker it some kind of way for you, and I hope that it helps you. But I'm really excited about this one. It was a pre-order knife. It's a knife from a friend of mine that did a really outstanding job on this design, so I was very excited and amped up for this one. And then he sent it around in a pass around, allowing me the opportunity to check out the prototype. It wasn't the finished product, it wasn't production, but that really amped me up. Like, I was like, this one really vibes with me. The design, the size, the ergos, I just really got excited. Now I have the actual production version in hand, and that's what we're getting into. We're looking at the Tempest Knives Fractus. All right, guys, I have a lot to say about this one, so buckle up. We're going to do first size comparison, profile comparison, weight, and some cutting, and then we're going to jump into it. So let's go ahead and get it going because this one's probably going to be a little bit longer. Starting it off with those size comparisons, Manix 2 lightweight, Spyderco Para 3 lightweight on the table. The Para 3 lightweight is going to be smaller and obviously a little bit lighter. It is a lightweight model overall compared to the Fractus. And then the Manix 2 and the Fractus are really comparable. You got just a little bit more overall length with the Fractus, but it is really close, guys. Let's do a couple more. Okay, guys, we got the CJRB Echo down here on the bottom. This one is what I would call more of your medium-sized, gents size EDC. And then you got the Psyop up top. I think that's an ultra-competitive comparison here against the Fractus. The Fractus is going to be a little bit taller and just a skosh longer. I know it's probably a little bit hard to tell from the top down, but it is a little bit. Let's check out the profile and just see how this one compares thickness and closed up, and then we'll do some weight. All right, we got the Manix 2, we got the Psyop here closed up with it. So it is a little bit shorter than both. It carries deeper than both because of that fold over pocket clip that you got going on over here that hangs off of the back. And let's check to see how thick it is compared to the Manix 2 lightweight. So with those contoured scales, ever so slightly thicker. It is super close, but it is barely thicker. And then the Psyop with the flat scales and the steel liner is going to be identical. So really nice profile on this one. And keep in mind, with the contoured scales, it actually gets a little bit thinner over here. So that is really going to be a difference maker. I'm going to grab the scale and bring that out here, and we're going to check some weight. All right, checking the weight here. We got the scale on, the Fractus in hand, coming in at 4.2. How does that compare to the Psyop? 4.8, so really close, relatively close. How's it compare to the Manix 2 lightweight, coming in at 3.4? So really good job keeping that weight down, considering that you're dealing with a titanium nested liner lock. So you got a steel lock bar in there. Let's go ahead and take it down to the table. All right, guys, in the garage, we got the Tempest Knives Fractus. I'm really excited to check out what this one can do. My goodness, words are hard. Let's see, factory edge. This is first cutting with it. This one just came in over the weekend. Little snag there, but otherwise, oh, I forgot that has that tear in it. Otherwise, yeah, seems pretty good from the factory. Let's go ahead and start testing it out on some stuff. We're going to grab a zip tie here. With this belly on here, should be relatively easy to cut. Let me start on the other end. Yeah, nice bite. Very S90V, when done right, has excellent bite, requires very little effort to do any cutting with. Next, I just want to test the choke up position on that denim roll. I think it's going to do really well. It feels like it's got good geometry. A little bit more of what I would call a medium geometry. It's not an absolute slicer. It does feel like right there I'm having to like now start to put a little bit more effort into it, but this jimping in this choke up position is excellent. So once I'm able to kind of get that power going and saw into it, it's really nice. It's getting clean cuts all the way through, but it's definitely more of a medium EDC. So, just to say, for in comparison, like a hollow ground knife, it feels a little bit more slicey. My Militol, for example, probably has what I would say a little bit more of a thinner geometry, but it's cutting really well and it's slicing straight through, so that's really nice. Everyone's favorite is going to be the cardboard test, right? Let's go ahead and grab a piece of cardboard here. Single ply cardboard. I'm going to start underneath the tape. Yeah. Like so there, I don't see the resistance as I do on that dense denim roll material. Here, it's just really gliding through the cardboard with zero effort whatsoever. Very comfortable to hold. I'm feeling that pocket clip a little bit. Just feeling that it's there. It's not uncomfortable at all. So this is really a nice ergonomic design. Casey over at Tempest did a fantastic job. Now the pinch grip position is comfortable. I am up a little bit high. I think the tape is holding it together a little bit. No, that's my fault. I missed a little bit on the curve back here. It kind of got stuck there. I think that actually might be some of the glue, but yeah, so very easy to use here, very easy to control. Yeah, really nice, very comfortable in hand. And just a quick little check on the edge here at the end of that S90V is usually very tough, very good edge retention. Yeah, feels good. A little jump in there, probably around where the zip ties hit it, but it doesn't feel bad overall. Let me grab a fresh piece and let's see here with a fresh piece. I'm on the downside of everything that I've tore, so everything just falls out of that catalog. So let's see here. So a little bit of imperfection there. Let me see how easy it is to drop it out. We'll jump ahead from there. There we go. What is it? Oh, it's coming off. Is it coming off of the? Oh, actually the paper's rounding. I see what's happening. I was like, it feels good. It doesn't feel like there's any blemishes. But let me grab a fresh sheet again. I think it's catching on the belly, which is weird. Oh, is this one still on the staple? Okay. I'm almost out. Smoky Mountain, if you watch this, you can send me another one. There we go. Yeah, there we go. So we're looking good. I think it's what's happening is kind of coming up to the belly and there's probably just a little bit of bite there on the edge and it's kind of catching a little bit. But I like my S90V toothy, so I don't want to keep stropping it. All of that to say, let's get back up to the desk and let's talk about and evaluate everything I've seen down here. Okay, guys, we're back up here. We got the trusty, dusty spine whack tester here. What this is doing is if there were, for some reason, an accident, meaning you weren't paying proper attention, you weren't really being as careful as you could be, or there was some sort of accident that I just can't imagine where there would be a potential for this spine to be hit and pressed against the lock bar. We're simulating that today with the tester here on the Fractus. So let's check it out. One, two, three, pass. So why do I close it and reopen it? Just in case you're wondering, I do that because it is an accident, right? It's not like you're bang, 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 having 3 consecutive accidents with the knife open. I also do that because the impact could potentially cause that lock bar to kick out and give us a false negative, meaning that it accidentally did slip and disengage from the lock bar because it wasn't reset properly to ensure maximum safety. If it is being hit repeatedly, that is batoning, and you do not do that and should not do that, in my opinion, with any sort of folding knife. You need a fixie for your batoning. All right, let's jump into it, man. It is a slicer. Let's go ahead and cover that first. The S90V seems like it is done pretty well from concept. This is the first time that I had S90V show a little bit of wear from cutting the zip tie. I've done other S90V from CJRB and Kubi, and it has not done that. So there's a couple of factors that could have caused it. So I'm not going to try to blame that on any sort of heat treat coming in from Concepts in. Keep that in mind, though. That is something that happened. Could be could be the thin edge, could be that they lay their edges back more. There's just too many factors to try to dive into what that could be. Your lockup, since we're talking about it, is looking at about a 30% lockup. You got nice access to the lock bar for disengagement. You have awesome micro milling here. I think the very subtle and subdued cross milling here on the frame for a little bit of extra texture and grip is really nice. I feel like far away doesn't take away from the knife, probably so subtle that it even kind of blends in. And then you have these inlays. These are fat carbon Arctic Storm, so carbon fiber inlays. Fat carbon does all of the colorways here, so that as you go down and you're sanding for them to fit, you have a very different pattern, like a snowflake or something like that, with each and every one. So they're all going to be a little bit different. You have the pivot screw and what appears to be the two hardware screws that are going directly into the body or the scales and keeping that scale in flush. It is really well done. I have not found any sort of blemish or anything like that from the scales at all. They seem like they did a nice job and they matched the contour very well. You got a deep carry back mounted pocket clip here, but unfortunately Casey reported that Concept couldn't do this with a flat screw. I think that would have been the ultimate if they could have done like a completely flat screw on this, but there's not a lot of material there, so I think, you know, trying to keep that thin and trying to keep that notch down probably prevented them from being able to do that. And to be fair, you know, this type of screw, it sticks up, but it's not awful. It's not anything that's an eyesore. In my opinion, it's fine. He wanted this to be reversible the way that he designed it with the slant and everything like that. It would have been upside down. So what he did in the pre-order is he just asked for anyone that was going to be using it as a lefty carry to reach out to them, and I believe he's covering it at cost, meaning that he's not asking for anything more for that. So I really love that he's trying to help out those that support him that carry left and use left-handed. Whew, we are on a roll here, man. So there is, and it doesn't, honestly, in my opinion, at the weight that it came in at, doesn't need any sort of relief cut. The other reason I say that as well is because all of the examples have either carbon fiber or fat carbon on there, so you're getting weight relief right here where this is cut out for the inlay to go in. Carbon fiber, very durable, very lightweight, so I think that really does help keep that weight down. He went in this instance, and I agree, with the black hardware, and then he did the polished silver to kind of match. You know, it's half of one, six a dozen of another. I like this because it makes the screws a little bit more subtle. They're not quite popping out in your face. But if you wanted all the hardware to match, I could have understand that design decision as well. It's, you know, one way or the other. For me, I like the way that it came out, and I like the extra security of the hardware screws keeping that in place. Action on here, it's not broken in, guys. I haven't had it a long time, but I was really excited to get the production, and I'd already seen the prototype, so I wanted to go ahead and get going on it. I think it'll break in some more. I think the track for the detent ball will break in, and you'll see it be a little bit smoother, but it'll always be a shaker. To me, I like that more controlled close. I don't have to worry about, gotta pull that thumb out. I don't want it to fall on my thumb. And it works really good for the slide across and pick up disengagement styles on that lock bar. Really generous opening cutout. Not quite sure what shape to call it, but it's very generous, and it's, I mean, I don't think I've seen anything like it. You can let me know in the comments if you have, but I think it's very unique, and he definitely made it his own, and he even gave you like a little fuller down here, I guess, if you wanted to go real low, or maybe if you have long fingers or small hands and you can't quite, you know, you feel like you don't want to slide up and down all the time, maybe. But either way work really well. The opening hole works for the thumb deployment. That's the first time, truth be told, that I've had my hand land on the lock bar. Usually I'm down here below the relief cut, and I don't have any issues with the thumb opening. So I guess be mindful if you're not, you know, if you're sliding it around in your hand, you might land on that lock bar, but it wasn't really awful to me. I'm going to do the disassembly first, and then we'll wrap it up at the end. So I'm going to cut over for disassembly. All right, guys, we got the mat out. We're going to start our disassembly of the Tempest Tempest knives Fractus T8 throughout. I believe I checked this. I believe I did check this. So T8 throughout. What I'm curious about is if I need the T6 to remove the pocket clip. And I think I'm going to in order to be able to lift off, because I'm thinking this other screw goes into the back spacer. So I'm going to grab my T6 and as a precaution take it off. And then as we get into it, if I see that I was mistaken, I'll try to make sure that I cover that. So let's take that off first. The Weehaw bits and drivers and everything that I use are just way down at the bottom of the description under the tools I recommend. So is the hops gun oil that I like to use. This applicator, which is not the greatest applicator, I only keep it because it goes in there very well, but it leaks a lot, and I feel like I waste a lot of oil because I'm wiping it off from where it kind of gets stuck and bubbles push it up through the top, and it's kind of bent over time being in that pocket. So I'm gonna try to find another pin style applicator, and I don't know why I felt it necessary to go through all of that, but my point being is I'd probably just get the hops applicator if you're not storing it in a tool roll. So let's go ahead, start by taking out the pocket clip, which is really down in there, so that's make me wonder did I need to take it out? But I guess we'll find out. We are looking at titanium hardware. So let me move this up. Titanium pocket clip, titanium hardware, and I'm going to put that T6 up there. And then we're going to go ahead and hit this piece of hardware and the pivot screw. And I'm hoping it'll disassemble from this side, but I guess we will find out together. Nope, that's right. Concept does T6. I am glad I got this. It is T6 hardware, T8 in the pivot. So that is something I did forget about, truth be told, with Concept. That is tight tooling, though. Feels very snug in there. Didn't feel like it was going to strip. A little shallow, and there's a lot of play there. So let me really quick, because I made this mistake with my Vero thinking it was a T8. Let me just check T10. Maybe Casey went T10 in the pivot. Yeah, T10. So I am glad that I checked that. I'm going to set my T8 to the side. So T6 hardware and T10 all the way up to T10 in the pivot. So glad I checked that. All right, so it was loose a little bit already. There is no thread locker on that pivot, and it is titanium. Let's see here. Should lift right off here. No issues or anything like that. Let me check to make sure there's no screws underneath the inlay. I didn't check his disassembly video out. I forgot to go back and look at it. This is T6, right? Yeah, T6. Let me just make sure there's not a hidden screw or something like that. That is definitely not going through. We'll just check underneath this inlay. There is. So there is a hidden screw in here. So you have a pocket up here near my index finger for that hidden screw. So I am glad that I decided to remove that. These little screws are very tight in here. So I am glad. I was like, why is this not coming apart? Because there's one more hidden screw here. I don't know why they couldn't have used the inlay and made it a little bit longer to make it a screw. And that is also titanium, but I'm going to set that over there so I know which one is which. Okay, we're in here. We're in here, guys. We're in here. All right, so we have hardened steel in lock bar inlay here with the detent ball on it. I'm going to go ahead and clean that off. I really love the tune on it, so I'm not going to be doing any tuning access to the lock bar, but you can kind of go one way or the other, and good results. I've had good results in the past for that. And these are race washers. Yeah, race washers. That looks like a 6mm pivot too. Nice big pivot on there. Very heavy duty. I am flinging hardware across my table. I need to be a little bit more careful here. Just going to go ahead and dry clean this. I don't think I need any rubbing alcohol or anything of that nature. Go ahead and hit up the pivot on both sides. Make sure that that's clean. I'm going to use my Q-tip electronic keyboard circuit board, not keyboard, electronic circuit board Q-tip that is linked down below. Hopefully, I believe it is linked, to be able to clean that out so you can see a little bit of the dirt and debris that is coming out of this from the factory oil there. So that is looking better. Let me just try to hit it one more time with the T6. Get in there a little bit. Yeah, there's nothing left. Just wanted to make sure it was clean. And then we'll go ahead and knock the other washer off. And the reason that I am doing that is so I can clean the pivot myself. And then it is not a captive pivot, so it's free spinning. Or is it? Let me make sure it's not on this side. Yeah, just a free spinning pivot. So definitely keep that in mind as you go to reassemble this. You may need a T10 for the other side. My hope is no. Oh, darn. I forgot to clean the washers, man. What am I doing? What am I doing with my life? I really don't know. I'm forgetting to clean my bearings out, and then I'll be able to go in and lube everything. There we go. All right, now everything's dry. We're not going to do the screen grab because this is a all-inclusive video. So let's go ahead and start with the pivot. So we'll hit the pivot up. Let me make sure that this is not like in the inlay or anything like that. It is not. Okay. Nope, not captive. Not captive. Backspacer's trying to slide off on me. All right, so you can see the oil already trying to come out of that, and I haven't even put any pressure on it yet. So let's go ahead and lay that down. Let's go ahead and oil up the finger. That is a lot of excess lube. Let me set that on the cloth over there. And what I'm doing is I'm actually just rolling the balls around on the washer, the bearings here, to kind of get a coating on it, but I don't really need extra lube. I don't want it seeping out onto my scale or looking funny or anything like that. And since I'm here, I'm just doing the same thing with the other one. And then what I can go ahead and do is lay that on there, dry my hand off really well, and put the blade back in place. And. How many times did I say and there? Very nice tolerances here. Very nice tolerances for sure. So a little drop for the detent ball to get a little coating on it as well. I'm going to cover up this applicator, and I seriously think after this video I'm going to go order something better. I mean, either just go ahead and get another hops applicator to match the one that I leave downstairs, or I will go ahead and try to see if I can find a nicer pen applicator. I'm seeing this oil and I think it's a little much, so I'm going to try to take that off with this, which will get tossed. All right, that is everything. We're ready to reinstall the pivot and the hidden screw. All right, let's lift up here, and there she goes. So I'm going to start with the hidden screw that I put up here so I wouldn't get confused, and I dropped it into the wrong hole. Sorry. I really think the 2 screws would have been enough, if I'm totally honest. I don't think this screw is necessary at all. I know it is a bigger knife, but I just don't think that more than the 2 screws would have been necessary. Just my opinion. I am struggling to get this on the bit, and that is because I'm not hitting it correctly. I was a little low. All right, so that should be snug and keep it in place. I'm going to grab my T10 and my pivot bolts. Nope, I'm not. Can you believe I just tried to do that? I'm going to grab the scale now. Go ahead and put that down. I'm going to start with the pivot screw and just get it started by hand. It's a little bit of a shallower pivot screw, so it might be a little harder for folks like myself with the larger hands. Okay, that felt snug. T10 is done now, so we're going to grab the T6, and it's got its work cut out for it. So first screw, I'm going to put the body screw, or scale the liner screw back in first. Lord have mercy. That takes care of the liner. Those feel snug. I left the body screw back here away from the pocket clip as my reminder to myself of where it came from, just in case any of these are different. It seems like they basically use the same hardware screws for everything. Looks like. I don't know that for a fact. Let's go ahead and get this guy on. The tooling is great because with that deep, very snug tooling for the 6mm torque, it is going in very easily. And then we'll just go ahead and find the spot for the whoop. All right, so this is going to be one piece of feedback I give. If at all possible, is there a way to maybe notch it so it doesn't move around so easily? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not. All right, so all back together. Very smooth action, which means it needs to be tightened in the pivot. Wrong side. Yeah. All right, so it was a little loose. It's a little too tight now, and I can definitely see that because it's moved over to the show side. All right, so backing it out slowly, looking dead center now. Still a little tight. Still a little tight. Will it stay dead center as I back it out some more? Yep, staying dead center. And it's exactly where it was before as far as the action goes. Can I back it out any more without losing the strength in the pivot? All right, that's a little movement. I am definitely still centered. No play. And it is falling shut. Let me clean up my mess and we'll wrap this one up, guys. All right, guys, that is the complete disassembly of this. We've done the comparisons and overview and everything like that. My final thoughts are I love the design. It's a very nice design. I love the choices for the materials. Nice spear point, very thin slicey, hollow grind, flat grind. Sorry, I didn't mean to say hollow. Excellent opening hole. I love that it is unique of a design. The execution for the build was very well done. I love that the pocket clip is deep and very well done. Now he got this inspiration for it being on the back like that from Quiet Carry. I would say if you're going to borrow this style, or if you're going to replicate this style, I would say the way that it's done on the 9 is the better execution for me. I like that there's the hole here for the screw to go through, and you know, the pocket clip being just completely round like that so it can be flipped, because I think his concept is really, really good. You can just flip it and have this, instead of going maybe all the way through. The reason this works so well is because you can drop it in. So I'm wondering if, you know, is there a filler tab, or maybe you just have it, I don't know. Let me think about this for a second. I would say just stop it like that. And then for on the back spacer, and then for the lefty side, you can have the notch there and it can drop in. You know what I'm saying? So you have this here drop in, and then you have the filler kind of drop in maybe. That might add cost to it. There might not be a better way to do this. I would say just if you could, can you move the screws and the body screw and everything over, so that will be your one body screw here, and then you have your second one back here, and you can get rid of the one on the inside. I don't know. That's just something that I was kind of kicking around when I was looking at that, when I was putting it back together during the disassembly, is that this was kind of moving around. And I see what Quiet Carry did to keep that from moving around too much. They really just have it kind of dropped in and being caught on the other side, it looks like. Um, it looks like. The other thing too, and this is beyond KC's control, is I prefer the regular bearings on washers versus the race washers. They do allow you to tighten down the pivot more, but I had to back the pivot way out to get it to be start to fall for the disengagement, and then just the T6 hardware. I love the T10 pivot. I think that's awesome that he was able to get that AT10, but I would have liked them to be T8. Having said that, if they're not going to do T8 and flat screws, or they're not going to be able to do screws that are able to be nested a little bit more, there's really no point, because these are very tall cap screws that have very tight tooling. So you would have to have a very poor bit for it to start to strip. It's very, very strong the way that they do them. So I can see why they're saying maybe they don't need the T8, because their T6s are superior to other T6s from other brands. And it shows. But having T8 through 8 to me would be a little bit better if they could do the same thing. If they could do, proper tight tooling, and it can be, a really well done screw, and, maybe a flat screw and some sort of like pin notch or something on, like, just, I don't know if that could be done, but it wants to move over too much, and you got to just come over, and maybe that's just me complaining about something that's really solvable by not being lazy, I guess, putting the finger there and tighten it down. But man, this thing, I am really loving this. And I don't have a ton of knives right now that are in the hunt for knife of the year, but for me, the Fractus is in that running. That's how much I like this. Like, those little things, those are just ideas to kind of get maybe Casey's blood, flowing in the mind, or creative juices flowing, I guess is a better way to describe that. But I like a lot about this. The logo tight back here, looking good. Blade steel back here. Maybe if they, maybe they could do what Civivi does and maybe wash it out a little bit more so it's not as obvious there. Or maybe you can put the blade steel here. S90V, you don't need the CPM maybe, or if you want, you have it all there, and the logo here if you wanted to reduce that. Just, these are suggestions. Really, none of this stuff really truly bothers me. I think the pocket clip is about the only thing that I can really say from the bottom of my heart, just being honest and sincere, the way that it's kind of gapped. Like, this thing is beautiful and stunning to me, and it feels like it's going to be something I can really use hard, and that it's going to hold up, and it's going to do a lot of the stuff that I like. But I just love this design so much. I think that by trying to accommodate people that are lefty, you kind of just took away a little bit back here. Does it make me hate the knife, like the knife less? No, absolutely not. No. Forward finger choil's awesome. Jimping on here is really awesome. I got lots of grip here. I checked it out, and I love the pinch grip. And then moving over to the index, I don't really have anything to grab here, but it's so flat that I feel like, even though my finger may slip back and forth, that once I get down on whatever I'm indexing for, and I'm putting that pressure forward, my finger is going to kind of eventually settle, and then I'll be able to kind of help drag it back through on the cut. But the pinch grip on here is really nice, and that fuller here, it's really given me something to grab onto. And in recent memory, I can't think of another knife that let me do that. Race washers work, and they work good, but I truthfully think that I just like a traditional, and I'm not looking for a guillotine. This one's a guillotine for sure, but and it's tight. Like, there is absolutely no play, but these are regular washers. The regular bearings riding on a washer, and this one here, is butter. I do have skiffs in here to give a little bit more solidity in the pivot, but the Delrin washers that are in here are really good. But this just has a smoothness to it that this one, and it maybe it's the detemp ball, but this one here doesn't have quite that smoothness. It's more of a shaker. Maybe I play with the pivot a little bit more and it's there, but those race washers for me, you know, the trade-off is okay, and that's a preference. That's not a knock on what Concept's doing with their washers, and that has nothing to do with Casey's design, which I, again, you know, I'm being sincere. I really do love this overall design. This is my favorite design from him, period. The minor nitpick is just the way that the pocket clip came across, and that's I love the pocket clip design. It's executed well, lots of clearance, goes deep in and out of the pocket well. Concept did a great job. It's locked up solid. I don't have any concerns about lock slip. The detent is dialed. Man, it just, you know, they executed very well on his design, and I really do think this is in the hunt for knife of the year for me, 100%. So anyway, I guess all that to say that I really love this design. It resonates with me very much. I love the spear point, and the ergos and the handle are awesome. The contouring really good. I love the inlaid materials that he chose here. Maybe, I mean, it's a little rounded right here. I don't know if he wanted it like that, but maybe kind of, could you match it here, I guess, if you wanted it to be more symmetrical? I don't know. I like the way it looks, so it's hard for me to complain about that. I'm just trying to see, I guess, at this point, if there's anything that I can think of, because I guess I don't want to be seen as having any type of favoritism, but you know, I like what I like. This one's going to be knocking some stuff out of the pocket for pocket time. All right, I'm going to end it here. Let me know what you think about the Fractus down in the comments below. What's your favorite Tempest? If you don't have a Fractus, what's your favorite Tempest model? What are you carrying in your pockets if you aren't into any of the designs? And that happens. Sometimes designs don't resonate with everyone. If you enjoyed today's video, do me a favor on your way out, leave a like. If you're not already subscribed, consider subscribing and make sure that notification bell is set to all. You are going to miss some alerts for videos as they drop, guys. I love you. I hope you all have a fantastic week. Special shout out and thanks to those channel members. I didn't forget about you. I hope you have a fantastic week. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.